Just never know.
Me, no, 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 no,
Woohoo!
no.
Welcome back to Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Episode 9. The title is The Green Council. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa. I'm here with Sailor Tortilla, aka Age, and Andres here at the bottom with their lovely Targaryen wigs. We're going to talk about the episode. We'll talk about spoilers. And if you want to catch our last show of this season, make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell. And also, please leave your comments about how much you like the episode and what you rate the episode from 1 to 5 dragons. Okay, cool. I'm going to do my recap, and then we're going to go ahead and dive into our thoughts and our ratings. Alrighty, episode 9 opens up with a mysterious lady who tells Alicent something has happened. And Alicent tells Aegon that Viserys wishes that Aegon to be king. Tells Aegon? She doesn't tell Aegon. I think I wrote that wrong. No, she tells Otto that she heard Viserys say that he wished for Aegon to be king. And
She heard wrong.
Yeah, she did. There's a small council meeting that ensues, and they have been planning for Aegon to ascend the throne, even without hearing this information from Alicent. And Alicent is like offended by this. Lyman calls BS. He's like, I have known Viserys longer than all y'all bitches. This is horrible, and we only have his wife as a witness. And then Criston Cole commits murder again at this meeting. They act like nothing has happened and keep on going with this meeting. Otto plans to kill Rhaenyra and Daemon, and Alicent's like, no, you can't do that. Viserys actually loved his daughter. Westerling takes off his cloak. He's like, I'm not here for this shit. Alicent at first does not agree with this murder. Helena says again, like last episode, there is a beast beneath the boards. Otto is looking for Aegon. Sir Eric says that he's left to go to the city. Alicent tells Criston Cole to find Aegon. Aemon goes with him. Otto makes the houses bend the knee to the new king. Several don't bend the knee, and they are killed. I wrote question mark. The twin knights walk into a mini fight club. They see one of Aegon's bastards there. Aemon says he should be king. And we see Viserys being wrapped up by the septas. Alicent cries over his body. She tells Rhaenys that the king is dead, and she Rhaenys, deduces that they are usurping. Alicent asks her for her support and tells her that she should have been queen. Otto meets Massaria, aka the White Worm. She wants to make a deal. Please stop the kid fights, and I'll tell you where Aegon is. The twin knights find Aegon in some temple. Criston and Aemon stop them. Aegon says that he doesn't want to rule. He wants to be shipped off because he's not built for it. He doesn't want this. And Criston takes him away. Alicent and Otto argue some more. She wants to give Rhaenyra a chance while Otto says, no way, we need to kill the opposition. Larys tells Alicent the palace has a bunch of spies and that Otto knows, and he has been knowing this. And Larys has a foot fetish, question mark. And then the scene goes on and I'm right. One of the twins helps Rhaenys out. I can't tell them apart, but it is Eric and Eric. Eric with the E and Eric with the A. There's a building on fire and a mysterious hooded figure walks away. I do not know who that hooded figure is, and I don't know what building that is. Somebody please let me know. Everyone is gathered at the Sept to hear about the king being dead, and Aegon is now the new king. Aegon, the rapist, looks miserable. We see Rhaenys slipping out, and the realm looks pleased with this new turn of event. They're like, yeah, Aegon is the new king. Aegon now looks like he's into the idea of being king when he hears the people cheering. And oh my god, the beast beneath the board unleashes. We see Rhaenys with her dragon Meleys are on the loose, and Otto keeps screaming to open the doors. Alicent looks like she is ready to die. She knows she's about to be burnt to a pretty crisp, and she is shocked when she's not burned to death. And we see the episode ending with Rhaenys flying on Dragonback, obviously going off to warn Rhaenyra that her dad is dead and people are usurping. And that is the end of the episode. So now we're going to be rating our thoughts. Again, it's from 1 to 5 dragons. I'm going to start with Adriana. How do you rate this episode?
5. I thought this was excellent. This had everything I want out of a Game of Thrones episode. It was a bunch of talking for a majority of the episode and plotting and people trying to get their shit together. The show really, really slowed down finally, and I think that the next episodes are probably going to be good if they, don't keep skipping years and stuff. I think that was like a big critique we had and everybody else had, so good episode. Really good.
Thank you. And you, Andres?
I thought this was a 2 out of 5. This episode sucked. It sucked. It was all about them like finding Aegon. I didn't need that for an hour. I can't believe that Daemon and Rhaenyra's wedding was 30 seconds and searching for Aegon and learning almost nothing was an hour long. And then, you could have just ended the whole civil war there by blowing a little bit of fire on all the people that you're so pissed off at, and you just fly off. And it's been a while since the credits of any show have hit, and I've been like, what? I thought something was going to happen in this episode. I guess like Aegon became king, but I think I knew that was going to happen within the first 30 seconds, so I didn't get anything out of this one.
There was a foot fetish scene?
Yeah, I didn't need that either. I was like, that also, like, each scene kept getting, like, progressively, like, when is something going to happen that makes this a good episode? And, yeah, the whole game's back.
What?
2.5, this episode was all talk, no action. And, like, I didn't learn anything from the talk. Melissa, what do you think?
Tiebreaker.
I give it a 3.5.
It's fair, I guess. It doesn't really...
The spectrum.
Yeah.
I give it a 3.5 because I was engrossed in the episode. They kind of made it feel like a thriller because I thought it was really interesting that Otto and Alicent have the same end goal in mind, but they were going about it different ways. Like they still have different ideas about how this should be dealt with. Like he is like, we need to take out the competition. And she's like, no. And I like that even though this entire time they've been on the same side, but like, this is the thing that they disagreed on. And I really enjoyed watching that back and forth and those chess pieces because they both sent out different knights to find Aegon first. And that part I was engrossed with. I'm sorry you didn't like the length of how much that took time to find Aegon, but that part of the episode for me was good because of how like those chess pieces were being moved. And I will say, I did think like, bitch, why are you not saying Dracarys at the end? Like you could just end this right now. And I figured at first I was like, I guess she didn't because she didn't want a war, but it looks like a war is going to happen anyway. So like, what the heck? But then I watched inside the episode, and I'm not saying this is an excuse, but Ryan Condal, one of the showrunners, said she didn't do it. And he knew people weren't going to like it because he's like, I know people are going to dispute this. And I was like, yeah, people are going to because this was dumb. But she didn't say Dracarys and set fire because she didn't want to do this to a mom again, like kill one of the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I realized that it was because of the conversation they had earlier where like she said she respected her or something. But I also feel like that was just, I don't know. I feel like it's all very like put there so that it kind of makes sense later and not like doesn't actually feel really natural, you know?
I really liked the moment because for me, I feel like I have been waiting for Rhaenys to do something this entire freaking show. And I liked that we finally got to see Helena's premonition come to life with the beast coming from beneath the boards. But I did question like, why didn't you just set them ablaze? Why didn't you just say it? And I think also we have seen her be someone that goes by a certain set of rules. Like she was always about whatever the king says, I will go and do what he says. So maybe she's not all about committing like mass murder. And maybe that's why I'm trying to rationalize it because I did question it too. Like, why are you not just using your dragon? But having said that, I will agree with you on that matter. That didn't detract my overall enjoyment of the episode, though.
I mean, I didn't enjoy the first half either, so that's where it gets from a 3.5 to a 2 for me. But I don't know. It just seems like they wanted an epic dragon scene, but they didn't. Like, it didn't fit there, because if the character would have probably just finished the deed.
The problem is because
it seemed really thrown in.
It's because nothing came of it. It happened, and there was like not even towards the end. There's like any inclination that anything is going to happen. That dragon's going to go all across the ocean and tell everybody over there what they did. And I think that's the problem. It was like, here's a dragon. Wow, something's going to happen. Nah, she kind of just kicked a couple of nobodies.
Something could happen from that.
I think they just wanted to throw in a dragon.
I like that part,
I mean, at least make the dragon come out and just go straight away, you know, don't have it like go there and be like right in position to avoid a whole civil war and just not do it because you have more episodes to write, basically.
No,
like if it just would have flown away, I would have been like, okay, maybe I'd even give this episode a 2.5.
No. Remember when Alicent was saying that they needed her dragon? Like her dragon had to stay behind because they don't like. What do they have? They have Vhagar.
Yeah. I get it, but that's why, you know, it would have made sense if she just like stole her own dragon and like left off straight away. And it like came out from under the ground. They still could have made it a little epic.
What if she like?
I would have been like, okay,
with no
cool.
plan. What if she was like, I'll get there and I'll figure out what I do. Like she didn't have a plan. Like maybe that's just all that it was. It was like maybe I'll go fuck them up. Or not.
I think it seems like, you know, her plan was always to just take her dragon back and get out of there. And I liked when the dragon showed up. I was like, oh, finally something's gonna happen. But then it just kind of like it didn't need to get to that point where she was about to kill them and didn't, because it just doesn't make sense if you have that opportunity not to take it.
Well, that's how I feel about Criston Cole being unpunished for murdering Joffrey at the wedding. That didn't make sense to me.
He just murders people left and right. It's like his like first response is murder. Like, I hate that guy. Why does he have to get involved? Why does he have to go find the prince? Like, why is he even speaking at the coronation? He's just a guard.
He's the head of the King's Guard. Is that like tradition that they say whatever he said?
Whoever's watching this and is a book reader, let us know, because
we just need to look at like Joffrey's coronation.
I'm definitely going to figure out if that crap happened that way in the book, which I guarantee you it did not. That Rhaenyra pops out of it, or Rhaenys pops out of there and could kill them but doesn't. That does not happen in the book. I guarantee it right now. I haven't gotten to that part. I did start. I'm in Jaehaerys's youth.
But how detailed is it?
Because the book isn't detailed. The book isn't detailed. It doesn't have like scenes of dialogue really, except for like when something really key happens, it'll be like, and then there was a meeting of the council and somebody said this and somebody said that. But mostly it's just like an overview, and it gives you like a lot of background on the characters, and that it reads like a history book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm willing to not overlook it, but I guess like just believe in Ryan Condal's justification of this scene. She didn't want to kill another mom, but the mom would have died with her kid. She would have died with them.
I just think it's interesting that like we jump into this episode thinking that we're going to see like Alicent's going to say that he wanted Aegon to be king, and like maybe people will take action because that's what they want to hear. But instead it's like, oh yeah, that was the plan from the beginning. Don't worry about it. We got this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that was cool.
Let's open up with.
That wasn't bad. Yeah. Sure. Let's start with Alicent.
Start with Alicent because I think she's seen first as the one who's given this news about her husband dying. And she has it in her mind that my husband told me with his dying breath that he wants his firstborn son to be king. So she goes into the small council and is shocked to find out that they have been planning for Aegon to ascend the throne anyway. And she's kind of offended that she wasn't a part of this scheme, because I did think it was interesting that they never told her about the plan, because we have seen in, I think in like 2 episodes ago, that we saw her telling her son, like, you are the heir, you are the realm, you're going to be the king. Like she's been letting him know, you need to, man up because you're the heir. And they chose not to let her in on the plans. And I guess it's because they have been planning to murder Rhaenyra and Daemon, and they knew that she wouldn't be up for that. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Like, why didn't they tell her?
Just the whole thing, like the whole meeting, and why didn't they tell her, and the different ideologies, which is what I liked about this episode about killing Rhaenyra or to not kill Rhaenyra, and your thoughts on how they played that out.
I think it was sexism. She was the only woman in the room and she was too soft.
I think you're right, Melissa. I think it's just kind of like a bit of a plot hole because she's been in there like knowing that she wanted Aegon to be king for so long and being like probably pretty open with everyone about it. And there was a point where like she kind of hated Rhaenyra anyway, so I don't think she would have been that um like close-minded to the fact that like if Rhaenyra gets to be queen, your kids are gonna die. So if you get the chance, you have to take out Rhaenyra. I think at some point it felt like that was a motivating thing for the character. Like she knew that Aegon, her son, had to be king and Rhaenyra had to be dealt with. So it is kind of more surprising that like 15 whatever years went by without her knowing anything about this plan. But again, I did kind of like that moment. It felt like a nice little natural conflict to put in the first 5 minutes. It didn't pay off that much for me. I don't think it was like that.
I was wondering about why they didn't tell her like towards the end again, because at the coronation she's standing like really strong behind her son, is like for this. And I was reminded that one of the dudes in the meeting did say, we didn't want to bother you with these dark schemes. And it very much sounded like we didn't want to bother your pretty little head, which kind of did sound kind of condescending and annoying. But that was an interesting plot point, plotting behind the queen's back when she wanted the same goal.
What I like though is that the show is showing you kind of the plan coming from two different places. So like you're watching it the last episode going, "Oh, it was all a misunderstanding." And then you come into this episode, it's like, "Well, yes, but only for Alicent, and then for everybody else they were just doing their thing. They were playing the Game of Thrones." Like this episode felt like Game of Thrones more so than any other episode. That's probably why I like it so much.
I like seeing the pieces being moved by Otto and Alicent. Like they're like racing to find Aegon. That part was really cool to me. And then at the end, he's like, "Well played, daughter." I liked that.
So I think there's I feel like they're kind of going through like certain lengths to like make Alicent like relatable and like so that people can empathize with Alicent, because I doubt that in the book it plays out this way where like Alicent genuinely thinks due to a misunderstanding with Viserys that like Aegon. I feel like in the book it's just they know that it's going to be one or the other, and as soon as Viserys dies, they have to put the plan.
In the book, there's a lot of missing stuff about Larys specifically because he's so secretive. Like I feel like this is just one of those secret things that only lives in George's mind, and he was kind enough to share it with the showrunners.
Maybe, I don't know. It feels more natural for like I feel like that whole miscommunication thing was a little forced in order to make Alicent feel a little more like of an empathetic character that you can stick with. I think,
but I believe it. I wouldn't have believed it another way.
I mean, I would have believed it if she was just like, if they just convinced her that it was like her son or Rhaenyra, I would have believed that she'd pick her son every time. It would have made the character a little less empathetic, but it also, I don't know, it would have felt a little more natural to me, I think. But you guys liked it, so.
It was nuanced.
Hey.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job at making her a complicated character. Because, like, she knows her son is a piece of shit, but she's also all about, like, what's right and what's true. And in her mind, it's about the trueborn son being the heir. And in this episode, she's kind of, for the first time, realizing, I guess, like, what her dad, like, what he's capable of and what his plan has been. And she's like, no, F that. I'm going to make my own moves with my own plan. I'm going to find him first. See you later.
Yeah.
I like seeing that.
They didn't need to do this, really, because 2 episodes ago, she was trying to kill Rhaenyra herself. Right?
That
or
was
like
10 years ago in this
Was she
show.
trying to
in
kill
the
her? She was trying to kill her
That was
son.
a
she was trying to
decade
get an
ago.
eyeball, and if
And then
Rhaenyra got
like,
in her way, she was getting stabbed. That's clearly, what it seemed like was happening there.
it was an
So
emotional outburst. I don't know if it was about like murder.
it
You know,
was it was
If she
it,
went if
it
she
was
went
an
to court,
emotional like defense moment, but I feel like you could have brought me there again with the character once it got into like the life or death of it's either Aegon is king or Aegon dies and Rhaenyra is queen. Like, I feel like you could have brought it back to that space.
but that would have taken away from her absolving herself into the religion of these gods, right? Like they weren't part of the religion. She had her episode and she's in the religion. Like they literally were like doing the ceremony with King. Like it would have taken away from that development. And I know in the show, like because of the pacing, they didn't really develop that so much. But I feel like if they had, it would have been more important. And in my head, I'm taking it as more important. I don't know.
Yeah.
The pacing really messed me up. I really, really enjoyed episode 1 of House of the Dragon, which was this episode, because everything else was just like,
Ooh.
we got to get to the story. We got to get to the story. For me, this is like episode 1.
Okay, see, for me, it felt like more setup. I feel like every episode has been set up, and then hopefully everything pays off in episode 10 because it's been a lot of pieces moving and a lot of setup with ups and downs in this pacing. So I'm hoping I can finally give like a true 4 or 5 next week. We'll see.
Yeah, I would love that. I thought the first 4 or 5 episodes, whenever like they had the young actresses, I thought the pace there kind of like made sense. They jumped over some years.
Yeah, they did.
But then the
whole
middle
wedding.
the middle got like crazy. The middle was a joke. And then I wasn't here last week, but I really liked that episode, and I felt like that the pace in that was fine. And it's not necessarily the pace today that I didn't agree with. It's just like what they chose to slow down for. It didn't like make sense to me.
Yeah, there are things that I wanted to know desperately, like who gets Viserys's model kit.
Yeah, they could have touched on that. Honestly,
I mean, just a one-liner. Give me that.
If Aegon was crowned in the first 10 minutes, I would not have been upset.
But we don't know what happens after that.
So you're saying next episode might be really bad.
We wouldn't have seen the differences between father and daughter, though, and that's what I really liked about this episode.
I think I could have gotten that in 10 minutes. I really do.
The thing about this episode is making the last episode to be better. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, that's the hope, Chris. We've been saying that a few times.
We're so burned by Game of Thrones.
Maybe, you know what the worst part is? We came into this show like it's probably going to be bad because the last Game of Thrones were bad. So we got like enough from it to be like, maybe it'll be good eventually. I really liked last week's episode. That was a good payoff. If this was just like the one season Viserys show and I just have to accept that that's his storyline is the best storyline that we'll see, then that's fine.
So close to the payoff. Yeah, hopefully next week pays off. So we've been talking about the daughter. Do we have any thoughts on Otto Hightower? This man is ruthless. He is like,
I was so excited.
Let's murder the
husband. I thought he was finally going to do something. You know, online, I try to avoid spoilers, and everyone's like, Otto bad, Otto bad, Otto bad. I'm like, oh, he's finally going to do something that's going to make me understand all these comments on the internet. No, he's fine. The actor's doing an excellent job. The character makes total sense.
He had those people who didn't bend the knee murdered. I'm pretty sure the guards went and murdered those people who didn't.
What else were they gonna do? It's Game of Thrones.
He's bad in that way. Like he's like he is about the realm and to keep it stable. And for that, he's like, I'm willing to kill people. Let's do it.
They were gonna go snitch. They were gonna go across the ocean and tell everybody.
That's what makes him bad, though, because he wants to kill people.
But it makes sense. Yeah. Like, how else is he gonna survive? If he doesn't do that, is he going to live? Is he going to have a happy, long life if he just lets Rhaenyra take power? I don't think so.
Or not even really. I mean, he's kind of laying down the law now to avoid a civil war in the long term, which is bound to kill more
I feel
people.
like he's causing
I
a
assume
civil
would be
war.
his.
I get it. He said it in the episode, like it's you have to be willing to make some sacrifices, for like the greater good or whatever. And I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I told you this would happen with these characters too.
I'm also like super confused. Like when
what?
right now at the end of the show, they crowned the boy king, and the crowd was not into it. When we were shown in like episode 3 that they all thought it was stupid for a queen to be a queen, and then I don't
The crowd was
understand.
pretty
It's like
hype.
almost making it look like it's not. It's being portrayed in a different way than I expected. I thought Otto was going to be like Aegon is king, and everyone's like, yeah, a man
They
has
were.
to be king.
Yeah, there was like a beat
They were
where
cheering.
they got used to it, I think, which is maybe what you're talking
I
about. But they
eventually they
still-
did, but they were like kind of. I don't
He
know.
said the king
Well,
is
like
dead,
this.
and now Aegon's gonna be king. They were like, oh, okay, all right. They were for it.
Yeah, he
It
gave him
was
one of
weird.
these.
The thing is, like,
You know?
if the crowd had been really enthusiastically cheering, we could be like, that's why Otto's doing it, because that's what his kingdom wants at the
Well,
Red Keep.
I mean,
They cheered. They cheered enough for me.
I got that from the audience. They were into Aegon being king. So like I understand Otto's points. It's not that I don't get it. I'm just saying the obvious thing. He is ruthless about keeping the realm stable. That's all. And then
I also get that they might have just been cheering just because they were happy to be there.
They were also forced to be there, so there's that part. And like, what was that line? You look so much like your mother. Ew.
Who said that
Why?
again?
He said that to Alicent. He was like, you look so much like your mother sometimes.
He did say that. So let's talk about the boy king. Aegon, it was really centered about him this episode. He is hiding away, which is also weird because he was hiding before the king died, right? Like, how is
was he even comfortable in that hiding place?
Why is he hiding in
You brought up another thing that got me, Melissa. It's like they kept acting like this was the day that he either ran away or died. Like the same day that he was going to be king.
The white worm hid him because the white worm found out last episode. Like at the end of the last episode, the white worm found out that the king was dead before the queen ever did. So like those people were probably plotting with the Child Fight Society. Kid fights. This episode gave me kid fights. Like you're wondering why I gave it a 5 out of 5. Like there's little kids, little bastards of the king running around sharpening their teeth and their nails to go fight other kids. Are you kidding me? That's awesome.
I'll give you that. That was funny, and then there was also kid fight activism.
I love that.
You got to stop these kid fights.
Great. You must stop.
I was horrified because the kids are being forced to kid fight. But anyway, Aegon, it is centered around him. He is hiding. It's not really clear, like when he started hiding. Like at least to me, it's not clear. Like why was he hiding in the first place? Did he know his dad died? And he was like, "Fuck, I gotta get out of here."
Because I don't want to. Does that every Saturday? He just hides.
And we find out that he has a bastard son, and the Knights were like, he probably has several of those bastards out there. And we have Eric and Eric out looking for him because they're team Alicent, and then we have Criston and Aemon, their team Otto, and they're looking for Aegon. What do you guys think of this whole sequence? I thought it was interesting.
About Eric and Eric?
About Aegon hiding, just the whole Aegon-ness of this section.
I question why he was hiding at all. Did the White Worm do it to him? Why did he know? Why was he like, why did you pay the ransom? It's like, did you kidnap yourself, son?
Yeah.
But
also,
why?
Like, another thing in terms of pacing, I feel like on one hand, I didn't need any of this, and Aegon could have been king in 10 minutes, like I said. In another hand, like the pacing seems off as to where I feel like they looked at it for him in like 2 places, and then they were like, he's gone or dead.
He's not at the brothel, and he's not at the kid fight.
He's not in the 2 places I thought he would be. So they made it seem like they had been searching for days, you know?
Days?
They were like, to give up and think he's like dead or gone somewhere. Yeah,
I
Well, I
forgot.
You
mean, when you
probably
have
would wait like a
Aemond,
long time, not go like it's still the morning, you know?
with a
Like,
brother like Aemond, he totally could be dead. And also, like, is Eric even doing his job? Otto's like, "Where's the kid king?" And Eric's like, "I don't know.
So,
I never know." Like, this is how kids lose their fucking eyes in the
one
first place.
brother is loyal to Otto and is all about following the rules, and then the other brother was like, "This isn't right, and this is the bad king." So that's why it
He's
was like,
right though.
yeah, he is obviously.
One
That's
eye,
why he
number
helped
one.
Rhaenys to escape. And I can't tell which brother, Eric E and Eric A. Yeah, and Aegon, we see him still resisting to be king until I guess the ride to the Sept when he was like, that man didn't like me. In 20 years, he has not taken back his word. He had not made me his heir. This is not happening. I don't believe you. And then she takes out the Cathball dagger. I guess that proved that his dad loves him, that like he's passing on this dagger to me. And then I guess they're trying to make it seem a little bit sympathetic because he's resisting this and there's like some tears there. What do you guys think of like the performance of Aegon Targaryen actor?
He's won me over.
Yeah, I liked him in last week's episode as well, and I like that that's his like his character trait is how much he doesn't want it, and it's kind of like he's been almost like abused by like the Hightower side of like he has to do this, he has to do this, he has to do this, and there's like all this pressure, and he's like weirdly powerless in a way with all this power. So I like that about the character, and I think that's interesting. And I did like that today, like he finally started to see his own power a little bit when he became king. And it makes me feel like something more interesting is going to happen with him. So that was probably my favorite part of the episode, was that little development for him.
After he heard people cheering for him, he was like, "Oh, they're cheering for me."
Exactly.
His family doesn't cheer for him, so he needs somebody else to do
That's
it.
what I was going to say. Yeah, he got the love from the crowd that he never really got from his family.
And how much pressure do you think they were under to have him say, "I don't want it"?
And then we also got to see a little bit more from let me see. Oh, I don't have him here, do I? I don't. Dang. But okay, Alicent's kid, Aemon, he finally
eye patch?
Yeah, he finally says what we've all been saying is like he's the brother, he's the son who's like into that. He's been fighting, he's been training, he's all about duty, and he says, I'm the one that should be heir. It should be me who's king. And he's like, I don't disagree with you, brother. You don't deserve this. And I'm hoping we get to see more from him. I think he looks so cool. Do something cool from Aemon Targaryen. Do you guys have thoughts about him?
This was my least favorite Aemond episode, but I've loved everything they've done with him so far. I don't like the simplicity of like him wanting to be king. I felt like he was a lot more nuanced before I knew that was like his ambition.
But we knew that he was all about duty. Is that surprising?
But like he also had a natural drive to go out and do things. It was like, oh, what's her face is dead. I'm gonna go get her dragon. Like no one's gonna tell him to. He has that inside of him. And
I thought he was I thought he was more of like a nuanced character, and I thought he was more into like the warrior part of things rather than like simply I should be king type of deal. It's a little that makes him
he's not
slightly more boring. I thought he was just all about like killing his nephews and shit. I thought that was like
he was gonna come
guiding
out like
principle.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna come out like troubled, like with some kind of trauma, but he seems quite well adjusted.
I can't wait for all Team Black episode. Yes, next episode. I'm surprised to hear you guys say that because I feel like they've shown him as the one who's the most interested in like the whole process of like being trained, being ready as a kid to be king. I felt like him saying that felt natural to me.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he wanted to be like learned and like and trained and all that stuff, but I didn't necessarily think it was just like, oh, just to be king, you know? I don't know. I thought he had like more underneath him about
but
like
what else can you like aspire to when you're a prince?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought it was like more of like a vengeance thing that didn't necessarily
I think it's both.
include the throne.
I think
But
it's
have you
both.
ever been more qualified than someone for a job? And you're like, well, why the hell are they doing it when I can do it way better? Like that's what it seems like. I see it like work.
That's
I
what
get that. I
always.
get that aspect of it. I just thought like, oh, he just wants to be king too, like everyone else.
That can be disappointing.
I think
can
he
see
wants to
that.
be king, but I do think he still wants vengeance too. We know for sure he hates his nephews.
Yeah.
Like,
Honestly, look,
that's gonna be a
if you
fight.
look at like the history of Game of Thrones,
Mhm.
some of the least interesting characters have been like the kings and the queens, and the most interesting characters have been like the ones pulling the strings. And I thought Aemond was like heading more in that direction of like not being the king, but having like some real power. So like hearing him say he wants to just be the real king is like a little meh.
How old is he supposed to be?
I don't know.
No idea.
Maybe that informs his behavior. Like maybe he's just too young to be a little, look a little further, think about your power otherwise. Because he knows he has the biggest dragon. So he thinks he can just destroy, like, okay, put
Mhm.
yourself in his shoes. He thinks I can literally nuke whatever I want. So, and my brother doesn't even want to be king. Like, these are decisions like I alone could make
Mhm.
with my nuke.
Yeah.
He's
I mean, I
very
get it. Yeah, I'll give him. I'll give you that. The immaturity argument.
and then we see Laris Strong. Does anybody so we see him speaking with Alicent. Oh, that's right. He tells her about the whole system of spies that's within the palace and that her father
Tells her
knows
about 4chan.
he has been known about the spies. And then I guess he lets her know again that he has the power to do something about it. All you have to say is just tell me when, right? Is that what he basically said, right? Okay. So what do you think he's gonna do? And what you guys think of that scene? And do you think she knows he has a foot fetish and that's why she was doing that?
No, I mean, this is definitely like this is
This isn't
their
the first time.
relationship.
This
The
is not the
guy
first time.
loves fire and feet. There's blood
Okay.
and fire or whatever the hell this is
Andres
called,
said
and then
this
there's fire
wasn't
and
the
feet.
first time, and I felt like
There's no way it was the first time.
yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, this is
But
you can
how
tell she's tired of it.
She's got the routine down.
Is that how she's getting information from him? I'll let you. I'll show you
Yeah.
my feet. You give
Well,
me.
because this whole
Yes.
time, what did he get out
Isn't
of
it stupid
what did
too?
he
Like
get out
it's
of
stupid.
anything? No, it's not stupid. It's
Like-
like it's a fact of life. It's like the
It's a
show started
commentary on the weird shit you do sometimes
as
for
a woman.
to do.
Yeah, but like, why did it have to be feet? I feel like is my
It's a
thing.
foot
I
fetish.
prefer feet over something else.
I know, but if it would have been something else, I would have been like, okay, it's more than feet. It's like now I have to think about foot fetishes.
More than
I'm already.
But it's not out of the realm of reality.
No, yeah,
because
okay.
it's a
People have foot
thing.
fetishes in real life.
He's
I
got
get
a
it.
club foot.
But it's
Of
like-
course, he's gonna love feet.
You have to bring
Yeah.
that in here.
She
You
does
already
have
have
pretty
so
feet.
much. You don't have enough in this show. You have incest. You have like pedophilia. You have all of these things going on in this show. Now you got to bring foot fetishes in. I don't know. It was like a little too. I was like, oh,
His
this
answer
too.
is set everything on fire, though. It's like, oh, your handmaiden is a spy, so I'll just like set the handmaiden quarters on fire. Everyone can die. The whole staff is dead.
Chris Dang said the same thing. I kind of thought too. His feet are all messed up, so
'Cause he
that's
has a
why he
club
likes
foot.
feet. I was like, All right. Chris
Good.
Dang had the best explanation for why he had a foot fetish, so I'll accept it.
These sexual favors one does for information. Okay, so we see that Laris will still have one thing up his sleeve. He'll do something next episode, I'm sure. I'm hoping next episode is longer. This one was definitely shorter than the rest of them. And then let's see who else showed up in this episode. Massaria, who is the White Worm, okay, so she's been Otto's spy basically, right?
Is she the ex-girlfriend of Daemon?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the White Worm. Masaria.
Oh, I don't know anything she said. She was all like, "Ah, blah, 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 do da, stop the
She
kid violence."
I see her as like if Laris is the little finger, she's the
Varys
Varys. Yeah.
spiders. Someone says
Yeah.
the spiders line in this episode. I was like, "Ooh, is that where they invented the master of what's it called? Oh,
Whispers.
whispers. Yeah, there we go."
Mm-hmm.
So then she's auto spy, right? Or wait. Somebody said
She could be a double agent.
her handmaiden was in on it, and we saw her handmaiden is the one that goes to Masaria. So
Mm-hmm.
then that means Otto knew that his daughter's handmaiden was spying on her, and he didn't tell her anything about it. Ooh, that man.
Because it benefits him.
That's some fucked up.
Do we
That's why
know
he
for
said
sure
it
that he
benefited him.
do we know for sure that he knows that?
That's what Laris said. Laris said there's a whole bunch of spies, and your dad
Mhm.
has known about this, and one of them is your handmaiden Tyla. So that means I
Yeah.
think this will fuel more fire in between them, between Otto and Alicent, because he's been spying on her, I guess, this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
More deviousness. Okay, I like that development. I just worked through that during this live show. That was pretty cool. Okay. All right, that's cool.
Beauty of live shows.
And do we have, let's see, anybody
Criston
else?
Cole.
It was a pretty contained episode. Okay, let's see. Criston, he commits murder again. This scene did kind of annoy me just because we see that he smashes the guy's head, and then we see the other gold cloak is like, what the heck are you doing? Take off your cloak. And then somebody says something, and then they continue on with their conversation. Like, he continues being unpunished, and I don't understand why.
Okay, so Criston Cole reminds me of Donald Trump.
Mhm.
He just does everything he wants and sees no punishment. And after that presidency, I now believe that people can run around and do whatever the hell they want and see no
They did
consequences.
that in The Boys season 3 when Homelander killed that guy in that crowd. Sorry, fucking spoilers. I'm so sorry.
I love The Boys.
But that
It's such a good
happened
show.
in the last episode where Homelander killed that guy in front of a whole bunch of people, and,
And they were like,
cheered him
"Yeah!"
on. That was creepy.
It was real.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Criston Cole's a piece of shit, but he's a piece of shit that people let do whatever he wants. Like, I maybe didn't believe it. Like, I wouldn't believe it years ago, but I believe it now.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's tight with the queen. I don't think it's that complicated.
He's
The queen gives him an out for everything.
Yeah, but
that's her ride or die.
He has a boss. His boss told him, take off your fucking cloak.
He's a loose cannon. He's worse than the Mountain. He's worse than the Mountain.
He's pretty similar. I believe in the book, Criston actually uses a blade to kill that guy at the small council. I mean, I kind of saw it along the lines of what Daemon did to kind of protect Rhaenyra's honor.
I just hate him.
I was able to. The thing is, like, the king said, "I'll have your tongue," so I feel like that was like the go ahead. Like, this person needs to be executed. But this one was like, he was just talking during a meeting.
And he was a respected person.
Yes,
that's fair. Well, the other guy was respected too. Come on.
Vaemon.
Yeah, but
Vaemon was speaking treason in front of the king. Remember?
Yeah, agreed. But I will give you the point that the king was already going to cut out his tongue, but this guy was talking ish about the queen and saying that like she was conspiring to usurp the
he deserved
blah, 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 and then
everyone at that
I'm not saying I would kill him.
apparently.
Jeez, I'm just explaining what the character did.
No, I'm saying like I'm speaking like as if I was in the meeting. Like, did you really need to do that, Criston? We're having a meeting here, sir.
Yeah, that's basically how most people reacted, you know.
But then they just like, let's hold on this. We have to continue talking about treason right now. Like,
yeah, they don't want anybody to like be like, I'm just taking out this body and then sneak out.
It was so weird. It was kind of like annoying to me. Do you have any thoughts on this, Age? On this
I just hate Criston Cole. I want to punch him right in the face. There are people that are exactly like him. He is the most realistic character in this entire stupid show.
Yes, Sir Incel. Yeah, I've said this before.
Yeah, he's an incel, man. He's a red pill. Like, no, I'm not for it. Anything he does just makes me angry. Even if he talks with his whiny little voice, I just hate him.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Can we go back and like watch episode 1 of this and we're like, he's so fine. Look at that cutie patootie.
I didn't say that.
Fine. He is still fine. This is just, it's a lesson. It's got to be more than just a pretty book
by its cover.
I will say, like, I just don't think the character is as good anymore. Like, the character was more interesting in the first few episodes.
What did him and Rhaenyra talk about? I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, remember that time they were like getting to know each other? Like, what are his priorities?
They talked about like his background and how he could marry anyone he wanted and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff.
When she was a kid, she was feeling insecure, and she was like, "Do you think they'll ever, get behind me as queen?" And I forgot what he says.
He said he had oranges, and we could have oranges together.
That was like in the next episode, but they were talking even when she was like killing the boar. Dragons forever. Yeah. He just needs to be punched and kill him in the first time we see him.
Is he gonna die? Like, that's the character I want to see.
Everybody dies.
He's the strongest knight in the realm, but I mean, what good does that do when you're fighting a dragon? We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I also just think he's boring ever since he just got like grumpy for the queen. Like that's how I describe him now. He's just grumpy for the queen all the time.
There is a line that Alicent says when she's letting him know, hey, go find Aegon. She says something about, like, think of your feelings for me as a queen. Did that feel romantical to y'all? Or more like, do your duty as you're pledged to me?
I thought it was like a religious thing, like a spiritual thing.
Yeah, me too.
Like a duty thing, more.
Yeah,
more
like,
so.
like
yeah. I lean towards that, even though I guess there is like some subtext of romance.
He's very purpose driven, so I took it as like, I'm your purpose now, so do what I say.
Yeah, I definitely lean towards that as well.
Yeah.
Some Han Solo Chewbacca shit.
You've been doing so well at reminding me, Age. Do we have anybody else that you want to talk about, go over?
I think we're good this time.
Cool.
Yeah, not that many people in this episode.
Does anybody have any predictions for what's going to happen next week?
Oof. Everybody's going to be so mad.
You think so?
I'm predicting there will be a lot of dispute and memes about Rhaenys' decision towards the end of the episode on Twitter. Twitter will be ablaze over this debate. Predictions, I don't know.
I don't think Rhaenyra is going to be too happy that Aegon is king.
I think, do we think that all-out war is going to start immediately? Like, do we think that Vhagar is going to go chase the queen that never was, and there's going to be like an aerial battle? Like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Game of Thrones always has the battle episodes, the violent episodes, like the second to last episode. Do we only have 2 episodes left?
One episode left.
Crazy?
I think there's going to be a dragon fight.
No,
dragon fight.
There will. There has to be, because it's the dance of the dragons. Like, we have to see that happen.
But it doesn't have to happen in the next episode.
It could happen in the next season.
So what? Rhaenyra is going to get like a choice from Alicent about whether to.
Did you guys see the pre?
Yeah, what's her choice?
She's got like, I don't know.
Live in a house in Pentos or something.
I think something like that.
She was. I don't know what she had.
You're gonna get like an ultimatum.
Yeah, like bend the knee to my son, or I don't know, or like live somewhere else. I don't know. She just didn't want her to get killed.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna really go anywhere.
Well, we may see Alicent be all gun-ho about, yes, let's kill Rhaenyra in episode 10, because now it's like a real war now, because they're trying to usurp her.
God. Then come on, you have to admit, that would make this whole episode a lot crappier.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Well, because they might do the thing that you talked about, like it's either Aegon or Rhaenyra. Who do you choose in episode 10?
Melissa, they could have done that from the beginning. My whole point.
But now she's had like at least a day to think about it.
Yeah, freaking wasted an hour of my time. Oh, they could have just killed her right there with the Dracarys.
I know.
That's really annoying. Like the whole family could have just been wiped out right there.
I
And
know.
Otto.
That's what I thought too. That was a really weird.
And Criston, your favorite. He would have been gone.
I still don't know why he got to speak.
I don't know.
'Cause
Either.
Put the
he's the,
crown
I think
on
it's
him.
because he's the head of the King's Guard now. I think maybe
Yeah.
that's their role. I predict that Daemon versus Aemond may go down the road, but not next week.
Am I the only one that thinks that this is the end of the Dance of the Dragons? Because I think they want to do like an anthology series. Like we'll see like a different era in the next season.
No, I think we've barely even started. I really feel like this was episode 1. Like as far as I'm concerned, if I ever rewatch the show, I'm gonna start with this episode.
Interesting. I guess we'll see next week. So next question, MVP of the episode. Age, go first.
Jesus.
But I wasn't ready.
I'm not ready either. That's why I put it to you. Anybody in the comments? Dragons Forever, Chris Dang. Do y'all have an MVP? Please put them in the comments. And anyone in the future, if you have an MVP, please let us know in the comments.
You know what? I think the MVP was money. White Worm, just hand her a bag of money. Like
yeah, she can be bought off pretty quick.
Wait, but they
if
didn't
she
make a
has-
promise to her to end child fighting as we know it?
Yeah, and then like
he said, "I'll see what I can do." Like, really? That's not even a promise of yes, I'll change things.
Did he even know about the child fights?
Yes, he knows everything. I think that's the thing. Otto knows everything that's happening in this fucking kingdom.
What if next week we get a scene where he's like, "Here's what we can do: helmets."
I see what I can do.
My MVP is Aegon because at least he developed a little bit as a character today. He became less like emo and just trying to like kill animals or whatever the hell they had him doing lately. And
What was he doing?
now
before?
he's
Animals.
well, you
I thought he
know,
was just doing rape.
yeah, he was raping. He's just like getting
pretty
his
bad.
he's getting his power where he can get it, you know. But now he's the king, and he sees that, and that feels like it's a little twist that actually developed there.
Dragons Forever. I didn't get your rating. What do you rate this episode? Let me know.
I still stand by my 5. I'm very pleased.
I love that. Stick by your choices. I don't want you to change your mind. I'm gonna say because he caused this person to take an action, but the action is debatable. But that was my first choice. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it was Sir Eric because I like that he broke Rhaenys out so that she can go and tell Rhaenyra about the usurping that's going on. So I'll choose him.
Yeah, what are those guys all about? Oh my God, was
Dragons
Rhaenyra
Forever
having
and Chris
sex
Dane
with
are
them
both
too?
like, there's no MVP.
No, wait a minute,
Yeah.
wait a minute. What,
I'm telling you, this is a bad episode.
Eric and Eric look like Mr. Strong. Are they only loyal to Rhaenyra because they were like booty calls?
Only one of them is
Maybe. Also,
They're twins.
like an episode ago, wasn't Rhaenys trying to like kind of screw over Rhaenyra?
yeah, but then she changed her mind when she saw Viserys walk in, and she's like, "You know what, Rhaenyra? I'm going to take your deal. I'm going to say yes to you, so that my granddaughters could inherit Driftmark."
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she
'cause that's the other
changed her
thing.
mind once seemed like she had no choice but to change her mind.
Well,
But
the thing
now
is, like,
she had like
Alicent-
choices.
Alicent's telling her to essentially go against the stepmother of her granddaughters. Like that's not going to go well. She's not going to say yes to killing her own granddaughters that are the spitting image of her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair too.
She was never going to say yes.
That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Do we think that Corlys is dead or alive?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Kind of
Will
seems
he
like
come back?
It was a cool moment, Dragons Forever, but do you think she should have Dracarys them or not?
Yeah, I want to know what Dragons Forever thinks.
I wonder if that happened in the books.
Andres will let us know. He will look it up and let us know.
I have to look it up now. Like what happened when Aegon was sworn in as king? I guarantee you that crap didn't happen.
Yes, Dragons Forever. I'm waiting for your rating. I want to know, and then I'll end the show. So cool. So then we have Eric What'd you say? Age?
Hmm?
Money
Money.
Money.
and
undress
helmets for the children.
Okay.
They need
Cool.
braces.
All right. Let us know in the comments your rating of this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Join us next week as we are back for the last episode of season 1 of House of the Dragon. It has been fun to talk about it. No matter if you've loved that episode or have not really liked it, it's been fun to come together and be in this community. Ooh, Dragons Forever said 4.5 for this
It was
episode.
a good episode, man. That was a Game of Thrones episode.
I liked it. Cool. So subscribe so you can catch us next week, and also hit the bell because YouTube will let you know only if you hit the bell. And most of y'all who watch this show are not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Subscribe. It's fun around here. We're cool. We're peaceful. We're debating. It's fun. Cool. All right. Good night. Catch you guys next week.
Bye.